How's it hanging, Rasmanites? Chris Hero released from WWE and Daniel Bryan out of the main event scene in the WWE today on the Rasman's Reality. Yeah, I know it's not Tuesday. I know that for those of you that saw my content suggestions wanted video, I said I was going to do this way back on Tuesday. It's just been an incredibly busy work week, but wrestling videos are something I am going to start doing again on a regular basis, just to do more than breaking the fourth wall. And real quick before I get started, for those of you who know where breaking the fourth wall was this week, it was a down week last week, and I listened back to the audio that WWE TNA for Life and myself did, and it was only a half hour's worth of audio, and it just wasn't good enough, in my opinion, to actually constitute an episode. So we're going to come back next week full board. So there's your update on that. Now, Chris Hero. Let's talk about this for a second. I know everybody's shocked, and they should be shocked, because WWE really should have been utilizing Chris Hero 4 or 5 years ago on the main event picture. But in the end, I'm not really surprised, and here's why. And I apologize because my fridge just kicked on a little bit harder. It's not as bad here as I've mentioned since I moved, but it does kick on off and on, so I apologize. But anyway, I'm not really surprised by this move because they just obviously didn't know what they wanted to do with him. For whatever reason, they didn't think Kings of Wrestling with Claudio Castagnoli, aka Antonio Cesaro, was a valuable commodity, and they brought up him as a singles wrestler before Hero. And the most relevant thing that Hero did in his time in NXT was feuding with William Regal, a guy way past his prime, and a guy who is at the announce table when he is there in NXT. So I'm just not really surprised by the move, because Chris Hero was an individual that was just incredibly frustrated. And you gotta think, after so many years of that, as an individual, you just get so frustrated because you know that you're never going to get anywhere. And if you know you're never going to get anywhere, then why stay? So I think that's the point that Chris Hero was at, and I think he's going to go back to Ring of Honor, where they always appreciated him and knew how to use him, and he'll thrive there. And some guys, unfortunately, just never get past a certain level in the business. It's no reflection of their talent. It all has to do with who's in charge of making decisions, determining whether or not they're a viable commodity. Is it right? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it is the way the wrestling business works, and I know that from having spent time in the Dayton, Ohio independent scene in the past. So, bottom line is, Chris just had to do what was right for his family, more than likely. You know, I haven't actually read the news on this, to be honest, because I knew that I was going to make a video on it. So I kind of wanted my opinions to be unabashed or untainted, if you will. So I don't actually know if there are any reasons behind this, but just from my own personal gut instinct, Chris probably asked to be released, and I'm not really surprised. So best of luck to you, Chris Hero. And I would say go to TNA, but until Bully Corgan buys them up, or until their ownership situation is out of flux, I don't know if that's a viable option for anybody. So yeah, just go back to Ring of Honor, as I mentioned, and thrive there for the time being. Now let's talk about Daniel Bryan being out of the main event picture. I saw so many videos over this past week and a half from the the IWC about Daniel Bryan being out of the main event picture is the worst thing in the world. What are they doing? They ruined everything that Daniel Bryan built up for the past 6 months. And in a way, I agree with that. But in a way, I don't. And what I mean by that is the World Heavyweight Championship, in my opinion, was test one for Daniel Bryan as a WWE commodity. Because being a WWE commodity, we just talked about it with Chris Hero. Being a WWE commodity and being a great independent wrestler is a different thing. Is it right that that mentality is put there? No. But whoever makes decisions looks at all factors. They look at charisma, they look at promo ability, they look at how they get over with the crowd as well as wrestling talent. So being a WWE commodity and a value is a completely different animal than being a great independent wrestler. So Daniel Bryan's had 3 tests, in my opinion. One was the World Heavyweight Championship, which he did very well with. The second was Team Hell No with Kane, proving that he can help get more than one person over at a time and work well with others. And the third was this recent run with Randy Orton and being the literal face of the WWE. They call Randy Orton the face of WWE, but it's clear that Daniel Bryan was the face of WWE, and it was a play on words. And all 3, he shined way past what anybody, especially in the most recent test, shined way past what anybody thought he could, and really broke through that glass ceiling a lot. A lot. So, in my opinion, what they're doing with him now is what they should be doing. Because I think what they're going to do is they realize the kind of commodity and the kind of overall overwhelming fan support that Daniel Bryan has. I haven't seen fan support like this since the WWE version of the Summer of Punk in 2011. So they know they have an incredibly over guy, got a little tongue-tied there, in Daniel Bryan. So what they're going to do is give him his culmination and his big moment, in my opinion, at WrestleMania. Whether it's him winning the Royal Rumble flat out, or it's him and CM Punk doing some kind of tie win in the Royal Rumble, and it's a 3-way triple threat match between Orton, Bryan, and Punk. Or whether it's Orton and Bryan one-on-one one more time at Mania. WrestleMania, in my opinion, will be Daniel Bryan's moment, and I do believe wholeheartedly that Randy Orton will remain WWE Champion until Daniel Bryan has his moment. So in my opinion, they're not trying to screw over DB. They're just giving DB a bigger moment. And there's no bigger moment to culminate anything than WrestleMania. And Survivor Series is too congested because you have the desire to do the traditional Survivor Series matchups, so the main events don't really get focused on. So it's better for Orton to be facing Big Show and for Del Rio to be facing Cena, and then Bryan to be the focus here. And the other thing that I'm really liking, and the reason I brought up CM Punk and possibilities for the Royal Rumble, is because CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, the 2 best wrestlers in the world from a WWE standpoint, are working together, and they are utilizing their talents to put the Wyatts and put the Wyatts over. And the WWE needs a strong heel faction, and the Shield is about to break up. The first one to turn face will be Roman Reigns. The writing's on the wall there. So I just think that what they're doing is the best for everybody. It really is what's best for business, because the Wyatts get to look strong, they get an opportunity to work together, and then if they either want to keep CM Punk face, but as I said, have them both eliminate each other from the Rumble and be dual winners, or they want to turn CM Punk heel and have him subsequently weasel his way into, sorry, I was trying to find the right word, but somehow, work his way into a feud with Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, whatever way they want to do it, working together for Punk and Bryan as a tag team is the best thing for everybody. So that's my opinion on those two subjects. Let me know what you think in the comment box down below, or if you want to do a video on it, just send it to my inbox or my Facebook fan page, which you'll find down below, and I'll check it out. And full screen referral link down below if you'd like to become a full YouTube partner. And the company I work for is Head of Public Relations, Handi Enterprises Inc. All social media contact info down there in the description box as well. And this is reality according to the Razman and Razman style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.